Hi there. We were just editing my video I did recently on praise and the power of praise. And I was just having to see what I saw. Well, I had to see what I spoke about a couple months ago, which is always fascinating to watch yourself and see, how you speak and what you're speaking about. It's a bit humbling, actually. And the editor did a great job. The power of praise is not just an exercise, but you can treat it as an exercise. So right now you could, play with praise. But it's more than that. It becomes a platform of existing. You have the ability to actually live your life in praise and to recognize what it is like to be living your life in praise, which means you are actually living from this consciousness or this foundation that everything is glorious, everything's beautiful, everything's worthy of your attention. And you recognize through praise that it exists in its perfected moment, in its perfection of being, which is really cool because that means that there's no problems, right? Nothing's wrong, nothing's out of place, nothing's disconnected, everything's connected. So praise can be just a word, praise can be an action, praise can be an intention, but praise actually also becomes a state of being, a state of consciousness. The state of consciousness would be to actually rest into recognition of perfection now. Pretty cool, huh? So why wouldn't you want to play with that? So if you're not experiencing ongoingly the perfection of now, with everything in its divine order and perfectly placed, well, then you can use it as an exercise, an intention. So obviously the exercise is pretty simple. It's not rocket science. But you get to see you. You get to see how often in your day, today, you don't praise. Or you fall into a pattern of criticism, of judgment, which is the opposite of praise, right? So the opposite of praise is criticism and judgment. And praise itself is something you might then need to work on, to be aware of being in a state of praise. And so appreciation is the active form of praise. And so it's to walk around and actively be appreciative for things. You can say it, you can think it, you can feel it, but you can recognize the action of praising, of appreciation. If you start to say it, you become aware of your thoughts. You become aware that perhaps you wouldn't have said that to your co-worker. You had other things you were thinking about. But then by actively praising, you're actually shifting your own intention and your own judgmental thoughts. And so what you're doing is starting to establish this new foundation of actually living in this state of being, this new state of consciousness, which is worthy of appreciation. Now, the funny thing is, you might not believe some of the things you have to say. You really think that person's annoying, but then to play with this game, you actively appreciate them. Hey, gosh, I appreciate you for just being here because you really bring more to my day. I really appreciate your, the sparkle in your eyes. Just seeing you makes me smile, so that's great. You help me that way. So, this intention to actually appreciate. And then, but what does it do? If you were thinking judgmental thoughts and the person was annoying you, but then you actively praise, you're shifting your thinking patterns, because then what you focus on grows, right? So it's not lying, it's not fake it until you make it. It's basically seeing the old habitual pattern of judgment and then shifting it, focusing on something else. And so it's like this. Right now behind me, it's trees. The judgmental thing would be, oh my gosh, they're too dense, they're blocking out the sun, let's remove them. I don't like them. I don't like the type of tree. I don't like the smell of the flowers. I don't know, something like that, right? Rah, 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 rah. Most of the time we fall into the judgment or the criticism. And so the same thing is the truth, but let's just shift it. Thank goodness there's trees that have been left here. Wow, these guys must be over 100 years old. Gosh, I appreciate that they've lived through well and past my lifetime, my grandmother's lifetime. it's incredible that they've lasted this long. I'm so happy that someone's protected them, and they deserve to be here, living out their lives and getting bigger and bigger. And in summertime, it must be an amazing, beautiful, shady spot that I'm sure families picnic under. I'm in a park right now. So, and their roots are holding the ground together, and their leaves are creating beautiful air for us to breathe. So I can really appreciate that they exist here right now, and I get to enjoy seeing them. So you see, it's a simple shift of focus. The truth is the truth, probably on both, but which one are you choosing to create as your reality, and then your state of consciousness? We all know when we're just miserable buggers and constantly, criticizing and everything's wrong in the world, we know how we feel, and we know what the world is like for us then. And to actually shift that and change that to it's the same world, it's the same situations, but we can actively be a better person, a different person, a happier person. And for me, if happiness is what this is all about and living a happy, good life today, let's play with it. Okay, play with praise, guys.